Lady Duck, she's the like I guess the mastermind behind the whole thing. Like, what's your thoughts on that? She's like a small statured stud or something. I don't know. but,
So
but like,
she king of the dykes. You feel me? So like
yeah,
ever so often you see somebody like that. You feel me? That's king of the dykes, bro, and they be vicious. Because I always tell people this, bro. Like ladies can they brains process a lot more information than we do, simply because after a while as a man, our thought process started to slow down as we fade into the night. You feel me? For them, they remember how you was walking different early this morning, and they finna confront you about it later on that night. And we all have been through it,
right.
where if it's something they care about, they can almost be disillusioned about it. You feel me? Like so, in that situation, she showed some critical character traits that you know definitely can be somebody who's gonna have a following. It can be alarming. You feel me? First things first, she's got charisma. You feel me? Secondly, she's a small built lady. You feel me? But she takes her image seriously, and she's able to get people to move on her behalf. So she automatically knew, if I want to have this money, if I want to have this muscle, I need to have this money. And with this whole girls kissing girls thing going on, you feel me? She could get in relationships with at risk youths, brand them with her name, and she put together an enterprise. She had a lot of respect in that area, and at the end of the day, all of these gang groups, all of these different groups, Crips, Bloods, was started in the '70s by 13 and 14-year-olds, right or wrong.
Right, right.
That's facts, and it shows in the outcome of its destructive forces, destructive nature in the community. Because I was out in Thailand, doing some shit. I was talking to some guys who were triads. They got rules. You feel me? They can't sell drugs in their neighborhood, in their area. You feel me? They can't. They don't recruit prostitutes from in their neighborhoods, in their areas. They do everything on the outside. So is it right? No, but the world can't seem to perpetuate without evil, and these people are contributors to it. You feel me? I stay out there pimping and whole shit because one time I got maced before. I got maced by a prostitute over her goddamn pimp who
Mm.
had just blacked her eye, and she had a huge big knot on her head. Look like Martin from that episode. He was fighting a boxer. Like
Mm.
damn. And shit, we intervening, and she maced me. I'm looking like, shorty, 'cause I love him. That shit pissed me off. So I said, you know what? Okay, this is what this shit is. Um, yeah, that's a whole different dynamic. That's like the biggest finesse in history. That's like the biggest finesse in history. It's really just slavery. You feel me? It's just slavery, and it's like, damn, I hate. I guess it's the Anunnaki who showed humans about slavery because they made us to be a slave race for them, and then we rebelled, and then everyone seems to see like, damn, human beings must be a resource on this planet to somebody because they using human beings to be a resource amongst other humans. So it's just kind of like an ever expanding and changing dimension of oppression, which seems carefully engineered to me. Yeah, that's where I'm at with it right now.
When you used to go like on the retrievals, did you see like people when you rescue them or whatever they be like branded like Lady Duck? All her females had her Lady Duck on them. Like, did you see that a lot?
Man, we saw. Don't you know the brand they use on cattle?
Yeah.
We seen that just way smaller We seen that on a lot of little females that was coming over illegally from Mexico. I guess they was coming from like other countries in South America. We seen a lot of that. Like the tattoo thing. We ain't really like the tattoos mostly are going on the males that are part of different groups. They use a physical, actual brand,
With
like
the
you would
fire.
with the fire
Oh,
on
yeah.
them, which is oh man, that's just crazy. Like, why would you want to do that to somebody? Like, yeah, like the most treacherous I ever seen was being down in Mexico in that area. You go down there, boy. You go to certain villages. It's no men, or it's no men at all. Like everybody's been a narco and is dead. Like you feel me? You see stories about how motherfuckers they down there raping grandmothers. Like you feel now. If you go down in certain areas, if you go to the club with your girl, they will approach you and say, "We want to buy your girl."
Damn.
That's happening now. You feel me? That's happening now, right now. You feel me? For sure, for sure. Because it was a little story about how a black girl went down to Mexico with her friends and she ended up dying. The truth behind that is they got her down there. Two of them had plotted. They was going to sell her to the cartel niggas. And the shit went sideways. She ended up getting killed. You feel me? So watch out for that back door down in Mexico because that shit is real deal. Facts.
Yeah. They got a lot of movies on it too, so you've been warned, right?
Now see that's the thing, bro. Them movies, it's always bits of truth in all of these films, for sure, for sure.
Right. How do you feel about Trump sending the National Guard to Chicago?
Mm. This is very interesting to me because something has to happen. Because, you know, this is the most hyper advanced city in the States. Everybody resorts to violence for the smallest altercation, disagreement. You gotta have law and order. Problem is, I remember being in certain situations, and the last thing we was thinking about was pulling over. Right? Then they did pretty much got rid of the whole bond system. You feel me? So everybody gets a I bond or own recognizance release now. I just seen guys get caught with switches 4 times. Get out each time. Then once you get an armed habitual, what's that? 11, 13 years, that 50%. You back in 5 years. You back in 4.5 years, and you got time served. Everything has been transactional. They have turned everything into a business. This is the problem with this system. Studies showed that, let's say a billionaire guy comes out and just decides to pay everybody's legal fees. This would make the system crash because they say it's not even enough lawyers to represent people on each side. Everything has been turned into like the ant farm feeding system for what? Another trafficking organization, which is these prisons, these private prisons. It's no coincidence that the inside of these prisons, the same way Chicago public schools look. You go everywhere based off a bell or a siren. Same way in these schools. And they aren't teaching tradecraft, they're teaching memorization. Soon as you ask an ID, inmate his ID number, they give you this long ID number, all memorization. The program is falling. Something has to be done. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that armed forces and National Guard began with instant shoot to kill orders. That's going to be interesting. You feel me? The murder rate there just too high. But you got 40, 50 people getting shot on a weekend. Something's got to be done. It worked. It worked real well down in D.C. Looked like it worked well to me. You feel me? Because when you look at the whole grand scheme of things, when I'm traveling around different countries, these governments, when they go into these areas where there are ongoing feuds going on, they call them blood feuds. They have certain allocated resources to typically intervene into these blood feuds to get peace. Because oftentimes, the lex talionis, which means eye for an eye, that is what the law system is being used for. That's what the law system that the locals are going to go by, eye for an eye. We've seen President Trump enter into several areas across the world and get countries to agree to no longer be at war. How would he look as the commander in chief if he did, in fact, not show up here and try to do something? And any opportunity he has to throw shit on Obama, he's going to do it. Look, I showed up to Obama's homeland. I got these guys to end the gang wars. Obama couldn't do that. So you got to keep these things in mind. What's the true motivations?
Real life. If that shit ain't real life, that shit ain't acting.
It ain't real life. Just a real life street story.